Hello guys, you're welcome to my official YouTube channel at Ask Barrister Blessing. In this channel, I make educational videos. Peradventure, this is your first time of watching my video. I want you to kindly like, share, hit the notification bell, and also remember to subscribe. My name is Blessing. I am a tech coach. I teach website designs, graphic designs, and the automation of AI tools with a legal lens because I am a lawyer. In today's video, I'll be talking about the things you need to consider before you pick or settle for a domain name. In my last video, I talked about domain names and I gave you guys assignments that you guys should go and get a unique name that can represent you online. If you haven't watched that video, my dear, you need to go and watch it. Titled, Your First Step into Website Designs, so that you can get a better clarity of what we are doing here today. All right. Now, what we are going to talk about today, as I said earlier, is what you need to consider before you settle or you pick a domain name. It's quite easy to pick any name, but there are some things you need to consider. And my question is this: why do you need a domain name? My dear, why do you need a domain name? You need a domain name because you want to use it for your website, because your website must have a name. Now, my question again is this: why do you need a website? Is it for fun? Is it for learning? For instance, as you're looking at me now, you may just be catching cruise. It may be for fun. It may be for relaxation. And it's to others, it may be for learning. If it's for learning, you can play around so many things and nobody will crucify you. Nobody is going to judge you. But if it is not for any of those, if it is for business, then what I want to say now is very, very important. What I am going to say now, if it is for business, my dear, sit right and listen attentively to me. If it is for business, the first thing that should come to your mind when you are picking a domain name is that that name must be able to establish your brand identity. Any name you want to choose as your domain name must be able to establish your brand identity. Ask me why. If you have a name that does not correlate with your brand, it will be difficult for people to identify with your brand. For instance, the name Indomie is a brand name. The general category of all these things is noodles. But when you go to market, you will say you need Indomie and they quite know what you want. In fact, sometimes when you tell people you want to buy Indomie, they will bring other types of noodles for you because they know that generally what you want is noodles. But you'll be the one to now tell them that the brand you are actually after is that Indomie. So what I'm trying to say is that your domain name must be a name that must be able to represent your brand identity. Now, having said this, another thing you need to consider when you are picking that name is this: that name must be easy to be spelled and must be easily pronounced. It must be easily spelled and must be easily pronounced. My dear, why will you go for a name that is difficult to be pronounced? Who are you impressing? My dear, you can only impress yourself with a name that cannot be easily pronounced. For instance, you to judge it, you met someone on the way, you introduced yourself, the person gave you a name that you cannot easily pronounce. My dear, before you get home, you would have forgotten that name. So what has that name got to do with your brand now? It has not created any identity for your brand, my dear. So when you are picking a domain name, make sure that name can be easily spelled and that name can be easily pronounced. Why do I say it must be easily spelled? Sometimes you may go on search search engines on Google and you want to search a brand out, if you don't know the right spelling of that brand, I trust Google. Google will bring you so many options, and if you are not familiar with that brand, my dear, it may not be easy for you to settle for the right brand you are looking for. Or sometimes Google will just come out plain that there is no result for your search. So what do you want to do with a complicated name? It has no benefit for your brand. Now, let me tell you the benefit of picking a name, a domain name that can be easily spelled and pronounced. One of the benefits is this. People will be able to easily associate with your brand. And guess what? The more people associate with your brand, the more traffic your website is generating. And I believe this is the intention of every business owners. They want to generate traffic. So, to generate traffic lies with you. What name are you using? If that name cannot be easily pronounced, you are the enemy of yourself. So what I'm trying to say is that a name that can be easily spelled and pronounced will allow many people to associate with the brand, because people will even be able to forward that name, pass that name across to others. Try this, try that. They will be able to say the name from mouth to mouth. And when people are able to associate with your brand, it means that your brand will generate more traffic. And when your brand generates more traffic, search engines will also be in favor of your brand. And I believe this is also a positive aspect for every business owners. When people go online and before they search 2 words, the search engine is already bringing things about you, because people are coming to your website more often. So can you see the benefit of choosing a domain name that can be easily spelled and can be easily pronounced? Another thing I want you to consider is the aspect of what type of business you actually want to do with your website. For instance, there are so many kinds of business. You may decide to be a blogger. Yes, if you want to be a blogger, we will talk about this in another video. There are extensions that your domain name must connect with. There are extensions that your domain name must connect with. And I told you in my last video that in my next video, I'll be talking about extensions. And so till then, let me leave it at that. The next thing I want to tell you now is that having settled for a name that can establish your brand identity and knowing fully well that that name can be easily spelled and can be easily pronounced, the next thing is for you to go online and do a public search of that name with Corporate Affairs Commission. This aspect is coming from me to you as a lawyer. You know, I told you, I promise you, that I am going to teach you with a legal lens. Now, why am I saying this? For instance, in my previous video, I told you that your name is your domain name. That you can use your name, you can trade with your name. There is this celebrity, a Nollywood celebrity called Omotola Jelade. I believe everyone or almost everyone should be familiar with that name. She is often called Omo Sexy. There was a time she decided to trademark her name. And after she has trademarked that name, if today you are listening to me, your name too is Omotola, and you have been trading in your name, and you decided that, okay, my domain name would be in my name, Omotola. My dear, if you go and register Omotola with domain registrars, it will be an infringement to the trademark name of Omotola, and she can bring legal actions against you, because domain registrars, they are not corporate affairs commissions. They will not tell you that somebody already registered this name with corporate affairs commission. Their own is just to check their own register to know if somebody has made any registration, any domain registration with that name. And if nobody has made any domain registration with that name, they will easily register it for you. And my dear, if you are registering a name that has already been trademarked, you are writing letter to trouble. So, as a tech lawyer, I'm advising you that after getting a name that can establish your brand identity, do the following test for your name. Can that name be easily pronounced? Can that name be easily spelled? And have you checked Corporate Affairs Commission to know if that name is available? If the name you have decided to choose fails this test, my dear, don't use it. But if it can be easily spelled, if it can be easily pronounced, and you check Corporate Affairs Commission, the name is available, my dear, go ahead and use that domain name. It's as simple as that. I got you always. So if you have gotten value, remember to subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified of my new videos. I remain your tech lawyer again. And my assignment for today is that go and make your conclusion on the domain name you want for yourself, that unique name. Remember, it's your URL, your uniform resource locator. That's your online address. Go and conclude on that name and meet me in my next video where I'll be talking about extensions so that we will both join your name to the right extension together. See you in my next video. Bye.